Well, that's going to be a top focus. Remember, that verdict is to be pronounced at around 1:30 p.m. today. Moving on now, 69 children have died at the BRD hospital in Gorakhpur in the last 4 days, out of which 19 deaths have occurred in the last 24 hours alone. 13 newborn deaths and 6 others suffering from acute encephalitis syndrome has been reported at the BRD hospital. This happening 2 months after the deaths of children at BRD Medical College in Gorakhpur created a national uproar, leading to the arrest of the institution's principal, a doctor, and other staff members. The number of deaths at the hospital continue to remain high, though. Aishwarya Paliwal now joining us over the phone line. Aishwarya, despite Mirror Now's efforts and in fact consistent efforts there of following up on the sort of medical facilities there are at the BRD Medical College, it seems that they are still not equipped to handle the sort of cases that come up, and we are seeing again a massive amount of deaths taking place in a span of just 4 days. We are speaking about 19 deaths that have taken place in the last 24 hours alone.
Yes, that's right. Maybe the kind of promises that were made have not been fulfilled. Now, despite the principal being removed, despite officers being removed, and despite a probe taking place, things have not improved on the ground, and this is quite evident from the number of deaths that we have seen in the past 24 hours. 19 deaths out of these, 7 deaths took place in the acute encephalitis ward. Now, these wards are equipped, some of these wards are well equipped with the instruments that are needed, but still the doctors are not being able to say. Now, what the official statement has come out from the principal of the college now is that parents bring their children in critical condition, and that is why we are seeing these number of deaths. So again, blaming the parents, again blaming those children, and again blaming everything else apart from the fact that the hospital has not been able to do much to curb the number of deaths that are taking place in an area where encephalitis has been rampant for the past many years.
In fact, successive governments have not been able to do much about this epidemic that Gorakhpur is the hub of. Encephalitis is something that Gorakhpur has been grappling with for years now, Aishwarya. And yet after this matter was brought to focus, after in fact we tried to bring this up repeatedly and those promises were being made, we are seeing those deaths continue to take place in the BRD Medical Hospital. What is the reason that's being cited for this particular span that we are seeing? We are seeing almost 19 deaths that have taken place in the last 1 day alone. What is the BRD Medical Hospital's statement on this?
See, it's similar to what we saw almost 2 months back when the death of 23 children in one night had created a national outrage. The authorities had to stand that parents bring the children in a very critical condition. Also, they said that the hospital at times is not very well equipped. Though they never said this on record, but what we could see around ourselves, we were there, Verona was there in the hospital for a week, and what we could tell you is that lack of doctors, definitely, lack of infrastructure. Also, no proper maintenance of the wards where these children are, and there was no cleanliness. Now, that is one thing which is of utmost importance wherever encephalitis is, because encephalitis takes place in areas which are not clean. Now, when the hospital premises is not clean, obviously there is a threat of the spread of encephalitis, and those children who are recovering might not be able to recover the way they should be recovering. So, though the authorities are again blaming the conditions, they are saying that in general people do not keep houses clean. In general, Gorakhpur is not very clean, and they're also saying that the children who come to the hospital are in a very critical condition when they are brought. That's the reason that we are seeing those many number of deaths. But definitely the situation on ground is not in line with what the authorities have been saying. Lack of doctors, not clean hospitals.
Aishwarya Paliwal, many thanks for joining in and getting us those inputs on that story.